have a plan. I have a plan. Now we can get our money back and then some. Double or nothing for our clothes.
Welcome back to the Night Pod Cometh, where we talk about the legendary show It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I'm Magnum Mills, and I'm back with the Soupdeucer to wrap up our discussion of season 17. Soup, next season, Sunny will be legally old enough to vote, to drive, to do all sorts of fun stuff, although I think they did a lot of fun stuff in season 17. Definitely enjoyed it. Looking forward to breaking it down. Honestly, I'm just sad that it's gone, especially when we had those Wednesdays with South Park and Sunny. Man, that was awesome. Like, I'm just hoping we get enough seasons of both that we get that to happen again. But enjoyed season 17. Looking forward to wrapping it up. How you doing tonight?
Good, man. I'm with you. I definitely like the season a lot, and it sucks. It always sucks when a season ends, but at least we know that more is coming down the road. How much we don't know, but hey, man, whatever it is, we'll take.
At this point, we'll take what we can get when it comes to Sunny. Thank you for taking in this episode of the Night Pod Cometh. We are presented by Regular Dudes Watch Stuff. Find our content wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Find us on social media at Dudes Watch Stuff, on the web at dudeswatchstuff.com. Very simple and easy to remember, just like the flaps, FLAPS. Follow, like, and please subscribe. If you had fun, please hit the thumb. And you should know on this episode of the Night Pod Cometh, this is going to be a completely full-on spoiler affair. Absolutely everything about Sunny is fair game here. All aired episodes, interviews, articles, rumors, you name it, it is fair game for discussion. So if you don't know, now you know. Let's kick it off with just kind of a little loose discussion, just kind of our overall thoughts and impressions of season 17. Just kind of starting with, did it meet your expectations? I really enjoyed 16. I thought it was definitely a step up from 15, which was about equal to 14, which was a huge step up from 13. So, but we saw the trailer, we saw the episode titles. I was coming in, my expectations were pretty high, and I think they really exceeded. I don't think there was really a dud in the season. There were a couple of episodes that might approach classic status, and even, your worst episode of the season wasn't even that bad. You had a couple crossovers. I think there was a little something for everybody. So I would say it definitely exceeded my expectations. And how did it stack up for you?
Right there, man. This was a good overall season as a whole. It like you said, there's some standouts. It's probably definitely one of my favorite all-time episodes in this season. There was a couple, every episode was good. Like week after week, it was like, man, it's a ripper, and then, as we get to the end and look at all of it, yeah, some were better than others, but not that there's ever been a bad episode anyway in any season, but I think this season was very consistent, and it was spread across the board a little bit as far as, with the crossovers and whatnot, tapping into some different territory. I like that, man. I like where this season went, and that might be a sign of where the show is going in the future. So
I think they just kind of finally realized what they are, kind of accepted that they're just going to kind of like the South Park guys, right? They're like, yeah, we're just going to be the South Park guys, and we're probably going to do this until they won't pay us to do it anymore or we die. And I think Sonny just kind of accepted that. 12 was a nice way to go out. If they would have ended it there, then 13 kind of the zombie season. 14, they came back like, all right, we want to do the show, but what is the show now? And then 15 was the weird COVID season. And 16 finally seemed like, all right, we had time to regroup here. We figured it out. And then they seemed to build on that this season. So I'm almost, maybe it sets the bar too high for 18, but I think this was pretty clearly, my favorite or quote unquote the best season since 12, at least. Maybe even you could argue 11. It kind of depends. You could argue that maybe with only the 8 episodes, you get the first half of the Abbott crossover at 1, and then the final 2 are basically the 2-parter for the Golden Bachelor, more or less. So then that's only 5 episodes, kind of. You know what I mean? That are kind of individual standalone. So I can see why people would feel maybe it was a little bit short in that regard, or that maybe we didn't spend enough time at Patty's. We spent a decent amount of time there in the corporate leadership, the corporate leadership one, the succession joint, and then a little bit in overage drinking. But we definitely didn't have quite that locked in Patty's episode. The one that was ironically closest to that was probably Dog Track, because that was more or less a one location episode, like you do get kind of with Patty's, and occasionally maybe you go to one of the apartments or whatever. Yeah, do you wish we got a little more time at Patty's, or you were all right with the way it worked out?
I like the familiarity of having some time at Patty's. I like splitting the time. I do like them venturing out into the wild a little bit more. Yeah, I do like them venturing out into the wild a little bit more. But I also like the you know the just that safety net of Patty's Pub there, man. So I like an even distribution. Yeah, we didn't see a lot of it this season. Maybe they hang out a little bit, but you know, maybe there's a little bit more focus on that next season. Who knows? I mean, we've spent plenty of time there, but it's definitely like a home. Like, would you want Cheers to not really?
Right, be at Cheers. Yeah, I guess that's the one thing is we had a lot of team ups. We didn't necessarily have like the entire gang in scenes together as much. I wonder if that was like a little bit of a scheduling thing, maybe because all these people are busy. You know, and that's always classic son. You know, everyone kind of pairs off, or you get a 3 and a 2, or you get a 2,
That's
2 and a
cool
1, and
though.
someone
Yeah,
doing their own
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
I usually like it, but it is nice when we kind of get everybody at the bar, kind of. And you do get their storylines to come together. You know, Dog Track and EMTs were both really good in that regard, kind of bringing them together. It happened at the end of Coma, but it was not maybe as natural. I will say that we both really enjoyed the guest stars. You know, we'll get into who we gave our MVPs and our stars to and everything. It just every episode, man, everybody they cast seemed just about perfect for the role. Even like, you know, I would have loved to see what like Timothy Oliphant could have done with Sparky, the dude from Dog Track, but he was great. Like, who was it? Simon, the dude from Coma, with, you know, the dude who's doing all the drugs with him, the rich guy and everything, who like
Oh
does the heroin
yeah,
and passes out of it. He was great. Even you know, the lady who was wound up to be the cake lady, but she was playing the nurse or whatever. Same thing in Coma. Everyone in overage drinking was great. I just thought the guest stars were awesome, man.
for a show like this, it primarily focuses on just them. You know, it was a good season for guest stars, man, and it was cool to have that. So I like the idea of having more you know more guest cameos and whatnot on the show, man.
Nice mix of, you know, names, you know, and then people I've never, you know, heard of before or anything like that. I do like how they mix it up. You know, occasionally you kind of get the big name in there. I think at some point, I think Ryan Reynolds did come on an interview and say he wants to play the ex-boyfriend at some point. So I wonder if
Right.
that's somewhere they would go. But that's, you know, because he is kind of buddies with Ryan Reynolds now, that does open like a whole universe of cameos up. And they are on FX. I've been rewatching The League actually. And it's amazing how many, you know, guys like, at least back in the day with the FX shows, would always do cameos on the other show. You'd have Walton Goggins, Oliphant, definitely kind of crossing over. It would be kind of cool, right, if we got somebody from The Bear, even if they were, whether they were playing their character for the show or not. I think if you're going to bring a character, how fun would like Uncle Jimmy came to Philly, you know, from The Bear because he had some business or something like that, and so he
I
winds up
think
like he's like, you know, some old business deal with Frank or something. I feel if they were into a character from The Bear, that would be the best. But I would love to see, you know, Jeremy L. White or any of those guys really show up,
Dude,
and, you know, just
Jimmy
anybody.
would definitely be the play, I think, man, because I could see him having some kind of fucking, you know, shady-ish deal with Frank, and he would be able to size up and fit in. You know, he'd be fine. Richie would probably be okay.
Yeah, Richie would fit
I
well
don't
with
know who
like if
else
they
could.
went
I don't know who
to
else could really hang. I don't
Richie
know.
if they
You
went to
know,
an Eagles game. It was like a Bears Eagles game or something like that, and they traveled to Philly. I could see that being kind of
maybe
fun.
to send Fact to Philly for whatever
Then
reason.
even have to say yes, Fact would work too. Even if he was like catering like something they went to or something like
Or hey,
that.
the gang goes to Chicago and eats at the Bear. It could be a good
Yeah,
crossover
yeah, that would be the
episode
crossover I would be there for. I mean, if Sonny hits, I don't know, 2021 and the Bear gets into 6 or 7, it could happen at that point. I mean, eventually, like even like Family Guy and The Simpsons cross over, right? Eventually, if you're on the same network for long enough, I think it just kind of happens that way. I don't really have a ton of complaints about the season. I do wish maybe like we didn't get Mrs. Mack this season. I've been waiting for Pondy to come back for a while. We did get the lawyer though. That was nice. We only got the little bit of Cricket, the little bit of Uncle Jack. I would have liked more Cricket. I did like we got, you know, Waitress a couple times. You got Artemis. She was fun doing the acting thing, playing Frank. I thought that was it was a lot of fun. But I do wish we, you know, no McPoyles. I wish we would have gotten a couple more of our normal supporting characters.
Yeah, I agree. I'll always take more Cricket, dude. You know, anytime Cricket's around, something crazy's happening. You know, but you know, I almost like the idea of introducing a new character. Yeah, you want to see some of these old familiar ones too. Yeah, bring them back also, man. It's always fun to have something like that. You know, and oh, cool, especially when you don't know about it, and boom, there they are. But yeah, maybe a new character might be cool, but you have to develop a new character. You got to give that a season or two
Yeah,
to.
they seed them kind of like you get them on a scene here, like Bill Ponderosa Pondy was like that. You know what I mean? He
See,
occasionally showed up and then
if you
started
think
showing up
about
more.
Yeah, if you think about Seinfeld, you know, you'd have these characters like the high talker, you know, may have only been there one or two times, or you know, or the close talker, or you know, I mean, there's things like that that kind of
Right, you get
remind you of some
reoccurrings
of
like
these.
Banya though, and Jerry's like all the family members. Sonny's gone to the family members well a little bit. Again, we only got Charlie's mom in the final episode. Obviously, she won't be in play anymore, but Mrs. Mack is always a good time too. So I would have liked to have gotten a little bit more of that, but I really don't have any complaints. I do wish the season was about 2 episodes longer. It does feel like they had a lot of ideas that they kind of just crammed into some episodes where it was a little bit overstuffed, where some of them might have been a little bit better had they had some time to breathe. And I've been. Did you ever watch the League back in the day on FX out of the fantasy football show?
Yeah, I did, but I
Do
didn't
you
watch
remember
all
like
of it.
Rafi and Dirty Randy and Rafi? Like Rafi's Jason Mazuzakis, Dirty Randy was Seth Rogen's character. Like they were absolutely crazy. Long story short, like they wound up doing like an animated episode, and that got me thinking, like, man, cricket would fit perfectly with those guys. And I'd love, even if they didn't do a crossover, just like an animated, like, Adult Swim type cricket cartoon, like 10-minute
Uh,
episodes of a couple of those, like, him getting into adventures under the bridge and the dog orgies and that kind of thing. I think it'd be hysterical. Like in
yeah,
between
yeah.
seasons, like a little webisodes, or I don't know if they do those anymore, DVD special feature or whatever, just YouTube thing now. I think
Yeah,
that would
yeah,
be awesome.
absolutely, man. I agree. I'd be down for any. I'm sure that, dude, there should be more of that to kind of intertwine and keep you
Yeah, I always liked the
entertained in
ancillary
between stuff.
supplementary content like that back in the day when they
Right.
would do, even like little stuff during the off season to get you hyped up, and it would like tie in just like a tiny bit, maybe, be one character, give a little backstory, or you'd see like dead people and then, why they're dead because you saw it in the summer or something like that. I think Lost kind of started doing that. Walking Dead, a lot of the bigger shows have done a little bit of stuff like that. I think it would be really cool. And Sonny should have some fun with that, man. Also, Sonny video game, dude. I mean, I know we got Dick Towel, we got Kitten Mins, but where's the Sunny video game? I don't know what it would be, but there's got to
Yeah.
be some kind of like, it would be more of an adventure type of game or a gambling game or something like that, or a game where you got, you're scheming or something like that.
I could see it having to go around and complete missions and shit, or
Yeah, like
make
even
patties
probably more of
bucks
a
or whatever
mobile
the fuck.
game or
Yeah.
something like that. Or I would just take Charlie McDennis the game.
Yeah, I mean, well, Trailer Park Boys have a game. There should be a Sunny or a Sunnyville, an Always Sunny game, as well. There could be, you could definitely. There's something they could figure out to make a game out of it.
On Amazon, you can buy It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia Monopoly. I've wanted to buy that for a while. It's like
Uh,
$40 though. Yeah, maybe you got to actually get people over to play it then, But it looks kind of cool, It's all, they have Monopoly for everything now. But
See, something like that, I would want it as a collectible, but I'd also want to be able to play it sometimes. Like,
yeah, I would want to play it because I mean, how much is it ever really going to be worth?
when's the last time you called up the dudes and been like, "Yo, Monopoly tonight, man"?
I
Like,
feel with Sunny, like you can make a thing out of it, right? You make rum ham, you put Sunny on, you play the Sunny Monopoly.
I feel like
I
that's
think
an
you could get
added
it.
bonus. Yeah, for sure. You theme the whole thing around it, man. It's more enticing. Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
if they do, announce a series finale ahead of time, that's the kind of thing I'd want to do then. Like an all day blowout, and you're playing like Sunny games,
Fucking Sunny
You're
Monopoly,
playing
dude.
Charlie McDennis, you're playing Sunny Monopoly, you know what I mean? Like all
That's
that crazy
great.
stuff.
That makes me think, man. I want to get it. I got to get some people together and get a Monopoly
That's one of
game.
those things I keep putting it on my Christmas list, my birthday list, my Amazon wish list, just hoping someone's going to randomly cop it for me. Because that's what a good gift is, I think. It's something that you want, but you can't quite bring yourself to buy for yourself. But if someone else gives it to you, it's, oh, you're like, great, that's
Right.
perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like new
Absolutely.
silverware because you have perfectly good silverware. Why would you buy new silverware? But then if someone else buys it for you, oh, that's nice. Or luggage, useful stuff. But if you have it, and it works, why are you going to replace it, even if you need to? It still works.
Yeah. I mean, as long as you put the right combination on your luggage, man, you'll be all right.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's the only combination that works for any luggage anywhere. I mean, why do you think all your luggage gets lost and stolen at the airport, man? Everyone has the same combination. That's just the way it works. So I think we definitely enjoyed the season. Again, not much, we give all the superlatives. We'll get into kind of the episode details in a minute. During the season, we like messing around and coming up with alternate titles for the episode. Thought it might be fun to give a title to the season. I mean, you could go with like the gang still got it. The gang gets their groove back, something like that. Or I don't know if they really lost their groove. I did think 16 was good. The gang keeps it up. I like the double entendre there. You got any suggestions here? Anything that sticks out as kind of a name or a theme for the season?
Yeah. I'm going with straight up alliteration here, man. Let me make sure I get it right now. Well, I like cake, comas, and cockpills.
That's not bad. I mean, that's pretty good. No one really uses 3 C's like that. Cake, coma, cocktua.
Ah, yeah. Well, you got to
That's
throw
fourth
dick pills in
season.
there somehow. So you almost have to say that. Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah,
sound right.
dick pill
Calling
sounds
cock
better than
pills.
cock pills
Dick
because
pills
cock
sound
pills
way
they
better.
could be like literally for your chicken. Like those could be what you give to your rooster. Seriously.
Yeah, dick pill sounds way better, but it doesn't follow it doesn't follow the alliteration pattern there, man.
Yeah, no, it does not have the good alliteration. Also, has there ever been a porn star named Dick Pill? Like that feels like it'd be a good porn star name for like a male porn star.
Yeah, dude, it should be dick pill. That's it. That's like it's like buck naked.
Yeah,
I'm
but
dick
take it also very good.
pill.
I mean, maybe the gang spices it up. I do think they got a little bit spicier this season than they had basically probably since 11 or 12. I mean, Dog
I
Track
mean, they
at
were
the point they
microdosing peppers. They definitely were spicy.
oh they did coke and meth openly. They jerked
Yeah.
off a dog. And again, just overall spicing it up. I mean, Frank even goes on TV to get laid. I mean, with the dick pills, I think maybe it is the gang spices it up. I don't know, but or the gang keeps it up because that ties into the dick pills, right?
Ah, yeah,
Yeah, either way, something like that. But I don't think they ever really kind of lost their groove. But it does seem like this was yeah, we still got it kind of like, you know what I mean? Like an athlete late in their career having like an MVP caliber season or something, being like, oh, y'all thought I was done, huh? And just kind of coming out with that big season. It really feels like that. And I think they feel that way too. And hopefully that's why it sounds like they're getting into production quicker. As far as a season MVP, during the season, for each episode, we gave our 5-star people, basically a way to determine our MVPs. We picked our 5 favorite characters that went from 1-star to 5-star. In honor of Dennis Reynolds, of course, the 5-star is the best. And I was up top with the guest stars. Guest stars took home 33 of my stars. Charlie was second at 22, had a tie at number 3 between Dennis and Frank at 19. D was at 17. Mac was all the way down at 8. And the Easel took home a single star because I love the Easel. I would have given one for the original VHS tape had it shown up. Soup, you also led with the guest stars. They took home 30 stars. Charlie second with 22 as well. Then you had D with 20, tie at 4 between Dennis and Frank with 19, and then Mac with 10. I feel bad, right? Because it's not like Mac was bad this season, but I think he was clearly just not, the least funny and the least involved, kind of. He didn't get a lot of. He was like second banana in most of the plots. It felt like.
yeah. And when he wasn't like highly involved, he was definitely focal point, highly involved. There was a couple episodes where where I think I gave him a 5-star at least once, maybe twice.
I mean, the team up with Dennis and EMTs was awesome, as was the team up with Charlie and Dog Track. Like, I think those were
Yeah,
both
I think he just,
great.
I think it just I think it just fell that way, just like the role he was playing, and it just is like that, man. I don't know. There's not, again, nothing against him. He did a great job all season, man. He's fucking Mac, dude. But I mean, sizing up or trying to like go against all the guest stars, which got both of our highest number of votes for 5 stars or whatever the fuck. So, I mean, throwing that factor in, it also takes away, and
Right.
some,
If we just said it had to be a member of the gang,
yeah, it depends on it depends on the writing and what he's, what they're doing with these characters, I mean, it could be a Mac episode and it could be great. It could be a D episode. It could be great, I mean, so sometimes D's at the bottom, sometimes Mac's at the bottom. It's very rare that Charlie or Dennis are at the
sometimes
bottom.
Mac's on the bottom and the top. I mean, that's
So,
what, that's
yeah,
where I had the scare.
yeah.
He's been kind of going nuts lately. I do think it's almost just a factor of Mac's the only character that's really had growth, right? Like he actually came out, accepted that he was gay. It seems like he's matured a little bit. Everyone else is still kind of their basis self. So, you know what I mean? Maybe they're just still trying to figure out what else they can do with Mac. It's not like it was just Mac is gay joke, but it did kind of devolve into that a little bit. So I'm looking forward to them to find a little something to do. Rob Mack would be the first to tell you he's not, Robert De Niro or something like that, but he's definitely shown some range, especially over on Mythic Quest. He got a little bit more to do in terms of playing depth there. It'd be nice to maybe, get his mom in, or make Ryan Reynolds his boyfriend or something. Maybe give Mac a boyfriend. We've never really had a character on this show have a relationship that lasted. Like Artemis and Frank is probably technically the longest running relationship, maybe Frank and Bonnie, but they're just kind of like bag buddies. Like we've never really had an actual boyfriend girlfriend
Yeah.
for more than an episode. So maybe that would be interesting. Just give Mac a little something to do. I mean, I don't think it's really a surprise we like Charlie the most out of the gang. He had the couple episodes where he shined. I mean, EMTs is great, but Charlie basically doing, Carmy from the Bear is just too good.
Right.
Yeah, again,
That
him
that
and
episode, I mean, I don't know. It's on another level, man.
Yeah, and I enjoyed, he was one of my more favorite parts of overage drinking. I liked him in the primetime joint where they're preparing and, just him kind of losing it when his mom shows up, that's I just think that, Charlie is Charlie at this point, and Charlie Day is so locked in that there is like, I mean, he is Charlie. You know what I mean? There's
Yeah.
almost no variation in the look too. Say what you will, go ahead, you like get in better shape, get a little work done or whatever. Like Charlie Kelly looks exactly like he's supposed to, kind of like looking back at the pilot. He wears some of the same clothes and everything. It just he's so
Right.
good at it. He just slips right into. I rewatched the Abbott crossover, and it's always nice when he does something like he can't really read that good, but here he is. He can just play piano, right? I'm always kind of
Yeah,
like how he's
yeah,
like an idiot savant and stuff like that. Dennis, great season. They let Dennis be Dennis, right? He got to get dark with it, and that's always when he is at his best. He got a couple of those crazy monologues. That's what Howerton's good at. And I like that they're leaning into it at this point, right? They know what they are, and they're just going to hit the high notes. But it made for a lot of fun. Again, give him Kate and Olsen, ton of physical comedy. Very, very good at that. Her riding the bike in EMT was great. All the
yeah.
stuff she was doing during prime time, trying to wearing all the stuff and doing the prop comedy and everything. Just a good time, man. I think everyone had their moments. Honestly, the one who probably had the least to do that is surprisingly high is Frank, because he just wasn't in as many episodes. I mean, Coma, he's barely in it, opening and ending scenes.
He
He's
was
not
Kate.
in prime time. Yeah, I mean, he gets the whole Golden Bachelor at the end. He's not in over it. He's not even in overage drinking, I think. You know what I mean? So
There's a couple he's not there at all. Yeah.
I get
Or
it.
just like
DeVito's, again, probably busy and older, and everyone on the show is busy and older now. So I get it. But when Frank was there, obviously he made his presence felt.
oh, of course, yeah, man. He might have been fishing. Where is that? Fishing in the fountain, like the Jersey Mike commercial or whatever.
There's so many Jersey Mike commercials, I can't even keep them straight anymore.
But
I mean, he might have to change his name to Jersey Mike. I would love if they could get meta somehow and like have a competing subjoint or something like that or whatever, or even like have a beef with Jersey Mike's or something like that. Oh, there you go. You can get a beef between the beef and Jersey Mike's.
or maybe they put a Jersey Mike's in patties.
Oof, I don't know if they can afford that, but I'm trying to come up with this. I'm all like, maybe the beef comes to Philly for a cheesesteak contest. I don't know. Or you get the beef sandwich versus the Philly cheesesteak. I don't know, sandwich showdown, dude. I'd be there for a sandwich showdown.
I mean, yeah, who wouldn't be? I mean, sandwiches, dude.
Sandwiches, dude. Yeah, we'll bring the Shorzy cast in to be the judge just for a proper crossover.
Nice.
Let's just go back over our episode grades real quick. We graded each episode of the season from 0 to 100. Patty's Bucks. Obviously, we were all pretty high on these. For the Gang Fucks Up Abbott Elementary, episode 1, I was at 88. Soup was at a 93. Episode 2, Frank is in a coma. I was 92. Frank was 90. Episode 3, Mac and Dennis become EMTs. I was at 92. Super's at 100. And then episode 4, Thought Leadership, a Corporate Concern. We were both at a 90. Episode 5, Gang Goes to a Dog Track, both at 94. Episode 6, Overage Drinking, a National Concern. I was a bit down on this one. I was at 84. You were a bit down on this one for you at 91. And then the Gang Gets Ready for Prime Time. I was at 91. You were at 92. And then the Golden Bachelor Live, I was at 90. You were at 93. Looking at these, I mean, you were just like about like 5 to 10% higher across the board. So if we kind of graded on a curve, I think we would more or less be saying the same thing. Looking back on it, I'm probably even higher on Frank is in a coma. I would probably bump that more up into the 94, 95 range. And I would probably put EMTs. Like I wouldn't go to a full 100 for you, but rewatching that, I'm probably closer to like a 96 or 97 now. Like that as, that might be one of your favorite episodes of Sunday. I don't know if it's one of my favorites, but it's definitely in the top 10 and we're approaching 200 episodes. So top 10 means something. You know what I mean? If your show only has 30 episodes, top 10 doesn't mean much. 200 episodes, top 10 means something. And with a show like this, my top 5 can change on what kind of mood I'm in. You know what I mean? It's always somewhat kind of fungible like that. I like the crossover still. I rewatched both parts of it. I'm kind of shocked that this is one of the lowest rated episodes in Sunny history. Like, I mean, it's way down there on IMDb. It's at a 70 last time I checked. That's like bad episodes of Sunny are like a 7.9. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of shocking that it's that low.
Yeah,
I get
why?
that it
Why?
wasn't the
I don't
typical
get it.
episode, people are just like, oh, this is like these aren't our characters. I'm like, I don't know, man. I thought the guest stars were great in it too. Like I liked how
Yeah,
they showed both sides of it. I kind of don't understand the hate for that one.
me either, man. I actually like that a lot, especially both the Abbott episode and the Sunny episode as a whole, the whole
Yeah,
package.
that's how we graded them as a whole. I think that helps because it's kind of cool, because the Abbott side it aired on ABC. It's obviously not, going to curse as much and take as many chances, but it's a nice setup. And the way they shoot it, it blends together flawlessly. I'd love to see a cut. Sometimes you can do the chronological cut or something, but you can cut these two together, and I think it would make a really fun episode. And that's kind of the way we graded it. Everybody gets something to do. Maybe again, Mac is kind of just the back end of it, but I thought the Abbott characters added a lot. So that was, I don't know, man. I thought it was fun. I didn't mind it at all. So I'm kind of, I was kind of surprised people were that low on. I could see like, all right, because I've never watched Abbott Elementary, but I still didn't mind it. I mean,
Me either, but you didn't have to be able to like these two episodes. And those are the only two. That's the only episode of Abbott Elementary I'd ever seen, and it's the only other time I've seen those characters was in the Sunny episode. I might watch this show, like if it's on and I'm like flipping through, which I don't know whenever
it's set in Philly, so I should
I'll
watch
watch
it
it,
probably.
but I'm not gonna like seek it out and watch. Like maybe,
Right.
I'll
Yeah, if
be
it
like,
was
oh,
on,
there
you'd
we
give it
go.
a
I'll watch
chance.
that if I'm like looking for it, flipping around, like scanning, whatever the fuck.
Yeah, it
it
was
is.
Ava the principal. I liked her because she was kind of a smart ass and shit like that. I liked a
Right.
couple of the characters. Again, the whole doing the Billy Joel thing when they flipped out about Fall Out Boy, that was just like just the idea that they have like a long, running vendetta against Fall Out Boy of all things. I just thought I love when it's just random specific shit like that. I thought that was great. I would also probably be a touch higher on Dog Track. It's almost perfect.
And I always like the mockumentary style of shit anyway. Not that I was a huge fan of The Office, not because I didn't like The Office or appreciate it for what it was. It just was for some reason I could never just get. I just couldn't get it. It didn't.
I like The Office, but for me, it's behind 30 Rock, Parks and Recreation, and Community. Those were all basically like the big NBC comedies at that time. I liked them all, but that was my least favorite of the bunch.
Yeah, the style I like, the whole individual talking to the camera, kind of mockumentary shit,
Right,
like Trailer
Modern
Park
Family
Boys
used
or
it.
something.
Parks and Rec used it. The difference was they never acknowledged it. Like they never they shot it that way, but there was never any like, oh, like in The Office, they actually acknowledged this was a documentary or whatever. I think Modern Family, same thing. They never really like did anything with it. They just shot it in that style and never really acknowledged like the camera people or anything.
Right.
I mean, Sonny's done that a little bit. They did Dennis Reynolds making a murderer, like the in the Netflix style there. So they've done a little bit of that before. It was fun to play with it that way. Again, I think Dog Track, just looking back on it, just so good. Everybody gets something to do. It comes together so well, and the bloopers for that are absolutely hysterical, especially Howerton and Caitlin Olsen in the hallway when they're kind of doing like the puking thing and the trash bags and everything. It's absolutely hysterical. I wish that thought leadership, they're kind of doing the succession thing. That's where they get out in the water. You had the slap fighting and everything. That was fun, but I had a little bit higher hopes for that one. Same thing for overage drinking. If you're going to do a sequel episode like almost 20 years later and bring people back, it was good, but it wasn't like that was probably the one where my expectations were a bit too high, but it was fine. But for this season, it's probably the bottom one for me. And then again, the final two, really a two-parter. They didn't bill them that way, but it really feels like a two-parter.
Yeah, oh, absolutely, man. You almost have to. Yeah, it's definitely a two-parter, man. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know how else
Right. I'm just kind of surprised
to
they didn't bill
kind
it
of
as
work
such.
around that. It is what it is, man. You could watch them individually, but they definitely go together. I mean,
Yeah, they bleed into each other. I mean, like they're overlapping at times in terms of the chronology. I mean, I was 91, 90, you were 92, 93. If they were one episode, I might be more like a 92. I might be just a touch higher on it. Because it felt like at the end of prime time, it kind of like, oh shit, like it already happened. It was like, oh, well, they're gonna have to pay this off. You know what I mean? It really was kind of like a cliffhanger, like again, the end of a part one, the beginning of part two. But at that point, without
Now, do you
knowing
think it would have
that,
changed? You think it would have changed things if they had said to be continued
a
at the end or
little,
something?
I might have not been as harsh because it would have felt like
Uh,
the ending didn't matter as much. You know what I mean? Because it felt like they did all that for nothing then. but the fact that we know that it's definitely going to kind of come back around, and we were, we thought it probably would, but we weren't 100% sure. And then obviously when you get the big payoff, not only does Frank have to bring his dates to Philly, but then when they show up there with the bald and the green and everything, and it's just that's fantastic. I'm so glad they didn't run that in the trailer.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's one thing I will say. I enjoy getting the trailer because it gets me excited for the season, but they definitely gave away a few, like even the Cock Chua thing. Like, how do you give that away in the trailer?
Yeah,
Like, that was their whole
glad that I
thing.
didn't
Like, you're
remember
going to
that.
give away Chew on that thing in the trailer? Come on now. Or at least make it the tagline for the season then. Chew on that thing.
Yeah, all right. So chew on that cake. I don't know. Fuck,
Well,
dude.
that's not I mean, it gives away the cake thing, but if it was just in context of the season, you wouldn't know where the cake is. Well, I guess when Frank started talking about it, maybe it would give it away, but it's still impressive, dude. I love that they pulled that off, and then when they referenced it in EMTs when he's poking the jazz man in the hospital with the fork to make sure he's not cake. I
Yeah,
love that. I
your
wish they would have
cake.
kept up that runner. Like, I love that to be a thing even randomly in season 18. Just someone just double checks, just making sure something isn't cake.
Yeah, just make sure. Yeah,
Just to double check.
traumatized, man. Could be cake, dude.
Could be cake, dude. I mean, if you had to be traumatized, worse ways to go than cake, probably.
For sure.
Be it the the actual food or the artist, dude. Shout out cake, dude. Or even
Yeah.
layer cake, dude. Shout out layer cake. Solid, random solid flick. That's a good one. Probably got
You
David
know what I
Frankie
like? I
at the
like a
bottom.
bun cake. Bring a bun cake in.
All right, there you go. There you go. And we do have minor updates on season 18. According to Charlie Day, the writer's room is set to be convened in October 2025. And according to FX, pre-production is supposed to begin in January 2026. I think this could conceivably set us up to get season 18 in 2026, which would be huge. If they can get on the schedule, that means I think season 19 is far more viable. Again, it has not been picked up for 19, but if they're going to get back into the short turnaround and not do a season every 2 years, I think that helps. Again, just the cast is very busy. Everyone's getting older. I think it just makes it harder to get there. So I'm really excited about this, Soup. And I guess, do you think it should keep going past 18? I mean, given this season, it's hard for me to like say we'll let off the gas now. Maybe 2 seasons ago, I'd have been like, yeah, I could kind of see wrapping it up. But it feels like they got their second or third wind at this point. So now I'm like, get to 20, at least get to 200 episodes. I think we said that before. Shoot for that, right? We're about 180 now.
Yeah.
So that's about roughly, about 20 seasons at this point.
Yeah, I'd like to see 200. If you're this close, you may as well. But don't do it just to do it. Do it to. But I don't think they're on that level. I mean, I don't think they're going to force episodes just
Right,
to
they're not going to pad it
continue.
out with the cricket animated show just to get to 200. They might do the cricket animated show, but not
Yeah,
just to
well,
get to
yeah,
200.
but of course, by all means, do the cricket animated show, man. The diabolical Sunny crossover might be cool.
Well, now I'm just trying to figure
If
out
you
if
get
you
into an
gave the
animated
Sunny
world, man,
characters
where you can get
V,
a
what would their
cricket,
powers be?
and what would cricket's power be? Holy
It's
shit.
something dog. I could be like the dog knot dude, right? You have the dog powers, I would feel.
Maybe, yeah, he did.
I
He
mean, would
did
you rather have
stuff.
the powers of a dog or the powers of a cricket? I feel dog, but maybe I don't know enough about crickets.
Yeah, maybe I need to research some crickets, man. 'Cause they might have more powers than a dog, dude. Depending on what you want out of it. I don't know. I
They
mean,
can
a dog.
fly, I guess, right? I mean, flying is
Do they
good.
fly or do they jump real far? I think the
It
crickets just
might be one of
jump real
those things.
far.
I feel like a lot of the soups in the boys' world just jump real far. Like there's not a lot of straight flyers. It's a lot of high
Not a
leapers.
lot of straight flyers. I think that kind of separates, the real powerful ones from the, average or
Yeah,
whatever.
that's
However you rank a fucking
flying's a
suit,
big deal, dude.
Flying's a big deal.
Generally, yeah. Man, let's hopefully that'll be the tagline for season 18, dude. I'd like to see
Definitely gives you
the
an
gangs that take to
advantage.
the skies, dude. Maybe they're going after Boggs again. Who knows? But I think we'll be there for it. We will probably be back in the interim doing a couple of throwback episodes. Not sure exactly what one we're going to do. We could probably be here for an hour debating which one. So maybe we'll have a whole episode debating about what episode we'll talk about. Who knows? Because there's almost 200 of these things. They're very funny. I know you want to do Charlie work at
Definitely
some
some room
point.
for debate. And yes, I definitely want to do Charlie Works. That's probably my first pick
Oh,
there.
I mean, that's the best, that's theoretically, it's the highest rated episode, that and Nightman Cometh. So those are too on the pedestal, but there's a bunch of episodes I would love to do. So we'll circle back around to that. And I think that about does it. As Soup, anything you want to say? You want to throw out a quick prediction for season 18? Will Carol Kane show up in season 18? I think I'm going yes. How about you?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm going yes. At least I'm hoping yes, dude. Like I feel like she's a good addition. I think she can be a good character here, man. And maybe her and DeVito actually, or I'm sorry, her and Frank Reynolds actually stick together for a minute or a season anyway. It might be cool to have her around, man. But still, because I think Frank can
They're a
still be.
good fit, dude. She has good energy with the gang. I think she can work. Maybe not every
I think she
episode.
could work with yeah, I think she could too, man. And I think that Frank can still be as greasy as he wants to be, and she is, gonna be. I feel like they can work together with, yeah.
She wants to
So
stay home. She'll just stay home. Be like, all right, Frank, go do your thing.
I mean,
You can
she's
sleep
got
with
the chicken
Charlie
money
tonight, though.
anyway. Yeah.
That's
So
probably the main thing would be the sleeping situation, right? Because Charlie would have a hard time with that.
Charlie's gonna freak out,
Yeah,
dude.
he's
Like,
not going to like the sleeping situation. And I don't think she's going to want to live in that apartment. So
I don't think
maybe
she'll want to
Frank
live in the
stays there on
apartment
the
and
weekends.
sleep with Charlie and Frank, man. And you got to save a little spot for Frank's toe knife down there and everything too.
Oof. Got to have the toe knife. I mean, she's got chicken money. I mean, do chickens have better toe knives or something? I don't know. That's more of a claw knife.
Yeah, more talons. They got the talons.
Yeah, the talons, dude. Yeah. Well, Dr. Claw situation, dude. We're just waiting for this Inspector Gadget crossover, and we'll be there for that. Thank you for being here for the Night Pod Cometh. Once again, we are presented by Regular Dudes Watch Stuff. Find our content wherever you get your pods and on YouTube. We're on social media at Dudes Watch Stuff, on the web at dudeswatchstuff.com. Nice and easy to remember, just like those flaps, FLAPS. Very crucial to our success. Follow, like, and please subscribe if you had the fun. Please touch the thumb. I am Magnum Mills. That's a Soupdeucer. We will see you again next time, probably with some sort of throwback episode or talking about what throwback we're going to do. Thanks again, especially for being a fighter for the Night Pod Cometh. Whoa!